nations, they don't sleep. They're watching our every move. Iran, Russia, China, North Korea, ISIS, Al-Qaeda. They may be watching this right now. Our military should not be mistaken for a cable news gabfest show. We don't care what you look like. We don't care who you voted for, who you worship, what you worship, who you love. It doesn't matter if your dad left you millions when he died or if you knew who your father was. We have been honed into a machine of lethal moving parts that you would be wise to avoid if you know what's good for you. We will not be intimidated. We will not back down. We've seen war. We don't want war. But if you want war with the United States of America, there's one thing I can promise you, so help me God. Someone else will raise your sons and daughters.
I want to make it clear that the views expressed by our hosts are not considered the official stance of MBR Views. Remember, this is all about having fun and enjoying the ride.
Find us on the web at mbradio.us.
Tracer Round Podcast. A tracer round is a type of ammunition designed to help visually track the path of rounds fired. Tracers show where you need to adjust or redirect fire. Join Army veteran Sergeant First Class Terry Lynch for Tracer Rounds, the first ever podcast of its type. Whether it be military, music, sports, politics, education, relationships, or gender issues, no target is off limits or out of bounds. Are you on target? Does your fire need to be recalibrated? Whether you adjust fire or fire for effect, tune in to Tracer Rounds, where the range is always open and there are rounds going down range.
Get ready for an epic collaboration as MB Radio and Patriot Radio join forces. These veteran-owned stations are uniting to bring you top-notch veteran-run podcasts along with your favorite classic rock music 24/7. Stay tuned for the ultimate radio experience that celebrates our heroes and plays the tunes that never get old. From engaging discussions to timeless hits, this partnership has everything you need for your listening pleasure. Don't miss out on this exciting new chapter in radio history as MB Radio and Patriot Radio come together to rock your world.
Hi, welcome back to Tracer Round. My name is Terry, your host, and I've got in studio with me today Joel and Devin, and they're from the Hungry Prepper and Nanoq Survival Guide Services. Did I say that right?
Yeah, almost. Nanoq Guide Services and Survival Training. I know it's a mouthful.
Okay. It is. And then the name of your town, too, is hard. And I struggled. I'm sorry. I struggled with both of them.
The post office struggled.
I have two veterans in the house with me. So I have two veterans in the house with me, and they're going to talk about their service, and then we're going to get into what they do for their day jobs. I'm so excited to have them. They reached out to me on Facebook, and I have to tell you, I was so excited to get the message to say, hey, we want to talk on MBR, who gives veterans a voice. So we want to give you your voice today. So Joel, you want to go first and kind of talk about your military service, and then we'll let Devin come on and tell his.
Absolutely. Thanks for having us, by the way. So I'm Joel. I live in Dover, Foxcroft, Maine, which is hyphenated or not. Hopefully, if you send a package, it'll make it to us. So I served in the Air Force as a medic and got out, and I've done various other things since then. But growing up in Maine, I lived in the woods. You make a living out of the woods, and it's kind of always been this is where I wanted to be. So by day, I work as a contractor for a nonprofit public health agency that serves the state of Maine. By night, I'm not really Superman, but I founded a guide service and turned it into a nonprofit. So I'm the founder director of veteran-run nonprofit here in Maine, which is Nanoq Guide Service and Survival Training, where we try to use outdoor recreation to try to help people basically get out and learn to see nature as an opportunity to heal, to feel comfortable outdoors. And a lot of the way we view things is we know that not everybody lives out in the middle of nowhere and has these amazing skills and does all these things. Most people nowadays work 3 or 4 jobs, work 80 hours a week, and they're thinking, man, how do I become a little more self-sufficient or confident outside, just maybe going for a walk, or maybe I'm thinking about camping and I've never done it before. Or more commonly is people will message me about their kids. They don't have time to take their kids fishing or hunting or really teach them the stuff that they want to, and they're trying to find an outlet for them to learn positive skills instead of negative skills. They want them to learn how to thrive in a world that seems really determined to not let them do that. And so that was kind of the reason why I started looking at maybe there's a way that we can use our skills here. And in that process, I started hosting these survival classes from different instructors that would come and volunteer to help. And this guy right here showed up from Vermont and was head over heels happy to be here, and just started absorbing the material and said, man, this is what I've been missing. And so we became good friends. I finally said, hey, I'm really trying to do something with this and I could use some help. And no joke, Devin packed up everything and moved here, gave up his little solitude, his fortress of solitude down there in Vermont, to come up and say, I believe in what you're trying to do. I can see it's going to help. Let's rock and roll. So Devin, it's your turn. And he doesn't have, he's a man of small words sometimes. Like he has to think a little bit because he was a Marine. So give him a minute.
So he's half right. I am a man of little words. I'd like to use as caveman as word possible, sentences as short as possible. I just get my point across as easy as possible. But yes, Marine Corps, been just about three different states in the United States. Been overseas. But honestly, my takeaway from the military is structure. Obviously, everyone needs structure, some form of structure, whether it's making your bed in the morning, getting ready for breakfast, getting ready for school, getting all your school stuff as a kid, and then moving into an adult, taking those little steps, moving it forward into adulthood. The one thing that I've noticed over the years, especially with my own children, is the age of information has gotten out of hand. Is it great to have information at the tips of your fingers? Absolutely. And be able to scroll through all sorts of information? Absolutely. But that information has gotten so much that we spend way too much time on devices, on cell phones, and it's gone from information to replacement of joy. So we're more apt to be on our cell phones and be more apt to play video games, be inside, be very sedentary, very stationary. And like Joel pointed out, these children, it's not a cliche. It's not a cliche at all. These children are our future. They're going to be our voters. Yeah. They're going to be our next doctors, lawyers, senators, congressmen. And if these people are doing nothing but playing video games, they don't have a sense of reality. They don't.
Right.
Getting them out into the woods, getting them confident, and getting them away from electronics. It's something that we all had when we were kids. You can't tell me that when we were growing up, we weren't out until the street lights came on and we could literally hear our father or mother yell at the top of their lungs to come back.
Right.
We weren't inside unless we were in trouble. We weren't meant to be inside sitting down. That's not where we're supposed to be. In this program, these children do not get a chance to just sit down and play on their video games. It's all about working together, teamwork, bouncing off ideas, coming together, and making one project that meets everyone's standards, not just ours. If we're happy, that's fine.
Yeah.
But if all the children are happy with it, that's even better. And most of the time, once these parents see how their children are reacting, they realize how much they're missing out and want to do this as well. So it's not just for children. It's also for adults. It's team building. It's teamwork. It's everything that's kind of taught in your business as an adult, is to be able to work as a team, to be able to function with each other, whether you like them or not. These are very simple things that we were taught as children to be able to grow up to and be able to deal with as an adult. And Joel's right. You know, I started this program. I saw this opportunity. Again, almost every single adult has this childlike idea that they enjoy: camping, getting outside in the woods, looking at the trees. That's something that a lot of us gave up for this adult life. Doesn't mean you can't do both.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think his passion is great. I fully 100% on board. And why not? Why not take a chance? Isn't that what life is about? Is tomorrow is a chance? If we don't take chances, then we're not living a very fulfillment life. That's all I gotta say on that. I mean, that sums it all up right there.
Well, I applaud what you guys are doing, because you're right. Too many kids are just sitting on their phones and whatnot. I know I used to run a firefighter process, and we'd have young kids, and they would have no life experience. They couldn't outdo a 40-year-old on a fitness test, because they just spent their time moving their fingers versus moving their feet. So I have to agree with you on that. Like, there's not enough of that outdoor, that engagement and enrichment, basically, because it is an enrichment when you go outdoors and you learn how the world works outside the house. You learn about animals, you learn about nature, you learn about, survival, like you said. So there's so much to be gained by what you guys are doing. So I want to hear how, I don't know how the two businesses fit together or how they operate, because I know you have the Hungry Prepper and then you have the survival business. So how do they work in partnership or in tandem, or do they?
Great question, actually. So Nanoq, the guide service and survival school that we run, is based right here in Maine. And as you know, as much as we're kind of bagging on electronics and technology right now, it is a necessity in this world. Anyone that runs a business, nonprofit, or anything, you have to have a media presence, right? You have to be on social media. You have to be engaging your followers and making content. Well, as I said before, Devin and I have said for years, we got to start making videos and content, and we want to do series on like FAQs on basics, and we want to review gear that we know is probably crap, but people are buying it. But how do you find time to do that when you're working a full-time job? You have a family to raise. You're really doing this in your spare time. And on top of that, I work a day job. My wife is a famous international baker. She goes into work at 1 a.m. We have a 4.5-year-old. My daughter is 12. So right there, think about the logistics of trying to balance all of these things, then go, okay, I'm going to find time to make a video and edit it and all that stuff. And it has been hard to do. And while I have a lot of good ideas in my head, I can tell you right now, I'm not an artist. I know the colors probably most of the time. I'm not good at creating what's in my head and putting it out there. So one of the jokes we have is that I do a lot of logistics. Devin brings a lot of it to life when we're trying to sort it out, and then we make it efficient, because we will go out and try things together and decide, is this what we want to do? Is it what we want to teach? Kind of hammer it out. And then I'm on the back end doing the marketing and sending out stuff and talking to people. And in this process, I was in one of the many veterans groups on Facebook, and I saw a post asking if any veterans were interested in trying to be like a DJ for a veteran music network. And I thought, I am not the guy to probably do that, but let me reach out and chat with Mike. and Big Mike, I guess is what you would call him. And so he is part of Foxhole, the Internet Radio Network, which is a veteran-based network. And I hadn't really heard of him at first, but I started looking into him. They had some pretty interesting stuff. So as we're talking, he's hearing me talk about what we do here. And he basically said, we have kind of a series / podcast that we really want to get up and going, because it didn't really work out when we first tried to launch it, because again, same people having lives and struggling to do all this stuff. And so Devin and I chatted with him a couple of times and said, you know what, I would love for us to become the hosts of that. It's going to take us some time to really figure out our rhythm and kind of go at it. But the Hungry Prepper is literally just the normal person's way to look at how they can identify what they want to do outdoors and successfully do it from a very economical and normal person perspective. I don't expect people to look at me and think that's basically the next Bear Grylls, quote unquote. Right? That's not what it is. It is like a dad that says, I get to hang out with my kids one day a week. They said they want to go camping. I don't know how to go camping. Maybe they grew up in New York City. I've met people in my travels that said growing up, there wasn't even a tree near them. They lived in an urban neighborhood where they didn't know what fresh food was. They, it ate a desert for food and vegetables and things, which we all know exist, unfortunately. And I remember talking to one of these people, I'm just like, it's pretty interesting. And the question I was asked was, why does it smell funny up here? Why does it smell funny? What? And I'm like, did I fart? Like, did I not, what? Like, so I'm thinking, is it me? Did I not bathe today? So I'm trying to figure it out. And as we're talking, I realize what the person means is there's a lack of smell. There is no pollution. There is no soot or exhaust. There's no cigarette. They were smelling probably the freshest air that they may have ever smelled in their life. And it was foreign to them because it didn't have the things they were used to. So I think about that a lot, because those are the type of people that I hope find our material as we develop it and say, man, look how easy they make it look. Now, first off, Terry, that doing anything like this is actually not easy. There's so much back end work just to make me look somewhat pretty right now. Like it's ridiculous. Yeah, he knows it's hard. And just to get everything online, it is a lot to learn in the tech side, but our goal is to make stuff that is simple. Really simple. Like, this is how you do a basic knot for these type of things, and we're going to walk you through it. And we do it from a fun, obvious, joking around type of point of view, but we're very serious about what we provide for content, because we're not going to push crap. We're just not going to do it. We don't buy the gimmicks that come out when people say, hey, see this new thing? It's only $300 and does everything you need. And we can look at it and go, no, it's not even worth $10. No. People don't need that. What they need is a basic comprehension of the basic skills they need, a foundation to build on. And everybody's different. Kids are different. Adults are different. And that is one thing I'm really happy about working with Foxhole, is they're very flexible, and that's what they want. They want us to provide that content because there's a gap there. If you go online, which we do, you go on social media, their algorithms, they're listening to you. I'm sorry, tech media gurus, I know you're listening to us, because if I'm sitting there next to my wife talking about toilet paper, and I pick up my phone and I see 2 days of ads of different toilet paper, don't lie to me and say that you're not listening in on our conversations. There's no tinfoil hat here. I mean, we're all veterans here, so let's be honest. We know that tech is far above what people think it is. So I look at that and go, it's great that we're trying to approach this in a way that people can laugh, because what we've identified with the adults and kids across the board, because we do obviously adult classes too, pretty much any age can contact us to come and work with us, is they're afraid to be wrong. They're afraid to make a mistake, because in a society that looks for every opportunity to pick up a phone and record someone at their worst moment to get the likes and the laughs, and I'm going to be the next viral video maker. I'm the newest content creator. I'm the funny guy. And the sad thing is, it's not just about like someone stubs their toe, somebody tripped while they were holding pizzas. There are people out there that will see someone collapse and needs CPR, and 17 people will be recording it and trying to get likes and talking to their phone, and not a single one of them will try to step in and say, call 911 and try to help the person, because we've created this society. And honestly, it upsets both of us quite a bit. Me being a medic in my past life and being an instructor for CPR and everything, it angers us, because you go, you know, it isn't about the likes. You can actually put people at risk. And we've hit a point where media has desensitized us. They have completely done that so that people, and this is the worst part. Devin and I were having a very in-depth discussion one night about this. You used to have fight or flight.
We need to take a break real quick. So can we talk about this when we come right back? We've got to take a quick station break, and then we'll be right back.
Perfect. We'll be here.
Another regular day, nobody knows. It's that time, he's coming home to them from a foreign land. He pulls up, his mama cries, looks at daddy with tears in his eyes and says, nothing feels better than this. Couple of months go by and no one sees. Something just ain't right, all he wants is peace. He needs help, but he don't know the path to take or the way to go to be free and put his mind at ease. We will help, 'cause we can't stand to see a soldier go to God by their own hands. We will do everything we can to make 22-0 again. He gets help, but he still feels off. Sees an ad on the TV about a dog bad and said, this is a man's best friend. Whoa, so he goes one day and he picks it up. Never thought a dog could bring so much love and put a smile on his face. But he's finally found a saving grace. He needs help, but he don't know the path to take or the way to go to be free. Put his mind at ease. We will help, 'cause we can't stand to see a soldier go to God by their own hands. We will do everything we can to make 22-0 again. Whoa, whoa. He needs help, but he don't know the path to take or the way to go to be free. Put his mind at ease. We will help, 'cause we can't stand to see a soldier go to God by their own hands. We will do everything we can
opinions expressed in this program are those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of any entities they represent.
Find us on the web at mbradio.us.
Welcome back to Tracer Rounds. We're on MBR and Patriot Radio, and you can call in. I'm going to put up the number if you want to call in and ask my guests, who are Joel and Devin of the Hungry Prepper and Nanoq Survival Guide Services. So I'm going to put up the banner, but we were talking before the break, and so I wanted to let you finish your thought on that.
Yeah, so we were just discussing how media has desensitized people, because we used to hear growing up, Devin mentioned technology as kids and video games. Now, my generation, a lot of us were outside. Now, I didn't have my first LAN party, so to speak, until I was an adult. Like, technology didn't really take off till after I was out of high school. I mean, we had Nintendo and Sega and stuff, and that was great, but most of my time was spent outside. And that makes you kind of more aware. You're situationally aware because you're out doing things and you're not focused on a handheld device or anything. Now, because everybody has a phone or a tablet, or pretty soon, I guess they're going to put microchips in us, who knows. We've hit a point where, because things have gone down a very negative road, people see things and experience things so much online in all format that things can happen in real life and it doesn't faze them. It's almost like they think they're seeing it on a video. So these situations happen, and you guys know, you've seen things online of pretty horrible stuff, and it's not the news. You can go online and just see a video pop up of someone getting shot, and they're just recording it like it's not a big deal. Where many generations ago, they would be screaming, people running, it would be a whole different thought process. And so we were chatting about how we notice sometimes that people are afraid to make a mistake, or they're afraid they're going to be wrong because they get chastised, they get bullied, basically. And so it's created this new thing where we used to have fight or flight. Those were what we were told. When your adrenaline goes, the cortisol rocks, everything's going, you're making a choice. I'm either going to deal with this or I'm going to get away from this. There's now another one that they're trying to put in, and it's freeze. We have a generation being brought up right now that don't have the ability to make a decision. They will freeze and make none. Anxiety, stress disorders, sleep issues, depression, suicidal tendencies. All of these things have been skyrocketing. The correlation, it is the electronic devices. Now, the device is not the problem. It's the content and the people that utilize it in a negative way. And so when we have students of all ages, we can identify very quickly the ones who are in a home where they're given complete unfettered access to electronics all the time. Now, throwback to Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, the original version, okay?
Mm-hmm.
If there was one character that you felt was probably not disciplined enough out of all of them, which one would it be, Terry?
Veruca Salt.
Veruca Salt. Now, take that image of Veruca Salt, anybody who's listening, watching, whatever, the original version's the best, I'm not going to argue with you, I know I'm right, and bring that to now. And how many Veruca Salts do you see riding the buses, walking around, ordering frappuccinos, carrying tiny dogs, screaming at people?
I want, gimme, now.
Instant gratification is what comes from having these devices that do deliver to you pretty much everything you want. And one thing he mentioned earlier was we have unlimited access to information. But Terry, is information knowledge? Are those two things the same thing?
No, not necessarily.
Not at all. Because now we have the problem of who's the gatekeeper for saying what is accurate and what is true and what's not. Okay?
That's true.
Fact checkers. Fact checkers. We all know that term. Trust me, everybody's probably growled about it once in a while. For some reason, it seems like when it's voting season, they pop up a lot more, but maybe I just need a tinfoil hat for that. But So we have a system that is overrun with information, with no way normally to differentiate, because I could show you 3 videos that look almost identical and say which one is the original and is correct. And you probably don't know. And that's because we've taken the world, which used to be in front of us, and they're putting a lens in front of you, a magnifying glass, and saying, this is the reality. And it's only what they want you to see, hear, and understand. But if you take that away, you realize there's a lot more to this, and what you're saying is completely out of context. And so when we have our students, and again, they're of all ages, the kids, that's really our favorite to work with, because we see them slowly start to come out of this bubble they're in, because they're in a world where they're getting attacked all the time. They have friends. I use the term loosely because the things I hear and see from them, and I go, wait, so that's your friend that does that? That's your friend that said that? Man, when I was growing up, friends didn't say and do stuff like that. To me, that was the bully. And if that is what they think a friend is, what do they think a bully is? We see now. We see that there's a reason why these kids are having serious mental health issues. And so they go to counselors and doctors and therapists. That's great, and they should. We take people out and we say, we're not here to judge you. We want to see where you find that spark today. Because guess what? You may not like building shelters. You may not like learning to purify water. You might say, I really like starting fires. Okay, fair enough. A lot of people like starting fires. Let's keep that contained as much as we can, because I don't need a forest fire in my backyard. But let's see where you go with it. And we watch these groups of kids that kind of know each other. And after a week, they are what we would say friends, or very close to being good friends. They've learned to communicate without their cell phones and devices. We're watching them have discussions about, how do we do this? What's the best way? Your way might work. Mine might work. And the cool thing is, it's almost like teaching a kid to ride a bike. Every parent that's ever done that has that moment where they're so excited. Because let's be honest, at first it's a ton of work, right? You got to like buy the bike and put it together, and probably in pieces, and you hope it's not junk. And then you're finally trying to get it right, and you finally get them on there, and you got to fight with them because they don't want to do it anyways. And then you finally get them going, and the moment that you let go, and there's no training wheels, and they realize, and that excitement pops in. That is what we get to see with our kids' classes very often. And you almost can't describe like the elation you have, how happy you get. That's his happy face. And
all the time.
It's a thing. We feed him
muscle.
We feed him crayons like on the daily, but he's fine. So
purple.
We go purple's his favorite.
If you want to send crayons, just purple, please.
Yeah. And so we see the kids do this, and to have parents come back.
I like purple too.
Smells good too.
To have parents come up and come to us and say, I don't know what you did, but our kids they're so excited to come here. And listen, we are not gentle, so to speak, with how we do our classes, meaning it is extremely hands-on. Every kid has said at one point their muscles hurt. And our response to that is, you can spend all night playing video games. Why can't you do this? Because what we're having you do is the exact same muscles. You're just not playing Fortnite. You're building a net, or you're doing this, or you're making cordage.
Right.
It's up. You think the game is more fun when this is really what you need to be doing. And so one by one, they drag themselves back the next day, and the parents will say, hey, they are tired. They're going to be late. That's fine. Just as long as they come, and we'll get them going. And every one of them would say, I'm tired, but I can't wait to come back. And I go, that's all we want, because Devin gives a speech to them pretty much in every class about expectations. And it's really simple. Just try. We can work with you if you just try.
So one of the things that I've noticed in society, like what he was talking about, is we live in a society where we focus on the tree in front of us. Okay. We only focus on what's immediately right in front of us. We don't know how to react other than what is in front of us. So when we have a problem, that's our tree in front of us. the one thing that we have forgotten through the education system, through the media system, is there's a whole forest right behind that tree. Most of these kids don't know to look past. And honestly, a lot of these adults don't know how to look past the tree in front of them, the obstacle in front of them, and see the whole picture behind them. Once you understand to look at the whole picture, you're able to distinguish what you need to do, when you need to do it, and how you need to do it. They don't teach that anymore. They want to teach you, this is how it's going to be, this is how you're going to do it, and this is when you're going to do it. That's not conducive to allowing a child or an adult to use their imagination, their critical thinking, and their own expectations of their values. Once you take all those out, we're nothing but meat puppets, and we're there for the grind. That is it. We're just making money from someone else. And I know that personally. As he said, he works during the day. He's got a family life. It's hard for him. I work nights. So it's hard for us sometimes to work together to be able to find the common denominator to make everything equal. But if we just focused on that tree in front of us, we wouldn't be talking to you. We wouldn't be where we are today with helping kids and adults. We would just be everyone else, putting our head down, shuffling our feet, and wasting our time for a little bit of a green piece of paper. I would give up everything because I know that everything that I need is provided out there. And once they realize that and they see beyond the tree in front of them, choices become a heck of a lot easier for them.
All right. We need to take a quick break, and then we'll be right back. And then we'll hear more about how the camps, like what age groups. You said all ages, but I want to know if they stay with you or if they just come. Their parents just bring them and they drop them off. If it's like a day situation or an overnight situation. So we'll talk more about that when we come back from break. We're going to just have a quick break from our sponsor, LTD Defense. And then we'll have Lady
Introducing
Liberty.
LT Defense Tactical Gear, your ultimate solution for top-notch protection and performance in the field. Our armor bundles provide unmatched safety and comfort, while our battle belts and holsters ensure quick and easy access to your gear. Stay prepared for any situation with our high-quality medical supplies, designed to keep you ready for action at all times. Looking to enhance your skills? Our firearms training programs will take your proficiency to the next level. Trust LT Defense for all your tactical gear needs and gear up for success on the battlefield.
Welcome back to Tracer Rounds. You're on MBR and Patriot Radio, where we're giving veterans their voice. And I have in the studio today Joel and Devin, and they're with a Hungry Prepper and Nanoq Survival Guides. So we were talking before the break about your class, and I think you just had a primitive event gathering, didn't you? I want to know how that went and how many people were there and what kind of events you had.
Sure. So the classes we host here, so like our kids class, we say is ages 10 to 17. Typically it's a day class. So if people in the area bring the kids in anywhere from 8 to 9 in the morning, goes till 5 or 6 at night, depending on how the weather goes. We initially started doing like a 3-day. So it was only 3 days work with the kids to see how it went. And it went great. So then we did a full week. So typically our kids class is a week long. And we've had a lot of people ask if younger kids can come, and they actually can, provided we know the ages. And we actually want parents to be a part of this, because while it's great that we work with the kids, it's super important that the parents get to be a part of the process to learn as well, because some kids know their parents work a ton. They want to see them more, and it's important that they bond. And we want to be a part of that. So while there could be adults there, and we've had some come and they help out, and it's great. Some parents say, I just can't, but I'd love them to be a part of it. Right now, we put up a price for everything because that's just kind of how it needs to be. But we never turn anybody away. So pretty much this is being funded by me, Devin, and my wife. And we have some friends that pitch in and help us too. We're covering everything on our own because we're relatively new and we're small. But we don't want to say no because just a little background, Maine, if I say Maine to you, I describe it as mini Alaska. Okay. Mini Alaska, little Alaska. I mean, we've got a lot going on up here. We're not as big as them, but we got some cool stuff. And rustic Maine used to be camps and cabins. When you were growing up, at least when I was a kid, there was probably a camp you got sent to whether you liked it or not. You were going. And as a kid, you were like, oh, I'm going to go sleep in this cabin and there's probably spiders and I'm going to go maybe learn to start a fire and I'm going to go swimming and catch it. Nowadays, that to me is exciting. But as a kid, sometimes we didn't really appreciate it. And what has kind of happened is over the years, those camps have been bought out or gone under. And now they are for-profit businesses for the most part that target people from out of state. So they're unaffordable. If you hear that a week at a camp costs $1,000 or $2,000, I promise you, Maine's a poor state. Interesting fun fact, if you didn't know this, Maine has the highest population of senior citizens or geriatrics in the whole country. Even Florida doesn't have more than we do. We're rural. They're spread out. Wow. So it's a relatively poor, spread out state. Okay. And we're taxed a lot on top of that, which is super fun. So we know that people struggle to make ends meet. And so if there is a camp, they probably can't afford it. And so I'm seeing this gap. So we tried to create this system because, you know what, our goal is to someday have one of those camp, cabins, restaurant, lodge setup that runs 24/7, 365 for programs for kids and adults. We have specialty programs for veterans, first responders, law enforcement, Gold Star families, active duty. They will always have special pricing and discounts because we've been there. And we also know most of those jobs don't pay equitably to the job you do. You do it because you're serving and you love. And that sounds great in your heart. When the bills come in, we understand what it's like to look at the $20 for the month you have left over and go, well, this is going to be fun. So we try to make sure that we provide the good content and stuff for the kids. And one of the things we've struggled with, honestly, is that out in the survival world, because we're in a network, we know a lot of the people you see on TV and we chat with them. Sometimes they don't want to teach kids. There's been this weird push where we don't want to teach kids. We just want to teach adults. Well, as a guide, I'm a professional registered Maine guide, and conservation and stewardship is a big part of earning the patch, which is right here. You have to understand that we're going to lose the resources we have, the land we have, the parks we have, unless this new generation is taught to respect it and love it and thrive in it and protect it. And that starts at a primal level, teaching them there's nothing out here to be afraid of. The moment you step out the door, you are the biggest, baddest thing in the woods, bar none. I don't care if it's a grizzly bear or an owl, minus Devin. He's not a big fan of bears.
Oh, yeah, Bigfoot. Bigfoot and spiders.
Bigfoot and spiders.
Right. Sasquatch.
Right. Which we have them up here. Terry, come out sometime. I'll find one in the woods for you. You can hang out and chat with them. They're wicked fun. They're good people.
They don't talk much like me, but
yeah.
You're on. I'm coming. You're on.
So that's kind of how our kids' class is organized. We do post.
We have them in Idaho too.
Well, they're everywhere. They're everywhere, honestly.
They're champions of hide and seek. That professional.
Yeah, but I just say, if you're trying to follow one, you find beer cans or schnapps, you're on the wrong path.
I ain't even found poop. Poop? Yeah, I haven't found Bigfoot poop. I found bear poop. I found deer poop, moose poop. Never found.
I'm more concerned that my partner in this business spends his time looking at poop in the woods. I mean, I'll look at a good poop in the woods if I'm walking by.
If I'm tracking, my eyes are going to be down. I'm not going to find poop up in the trees.
Tracking Bigfoot scat in the woods. That's why I can't find you half the time. It's ridiculous. You should all try to work.
We know what it looks like, though. That's the problem.
Yes. Well, yeah. If you don't know what it looks like, I mean, for all I know, pine cones could be it at this point. We don't know. Imagine,
Oh, man, that's
imagine
gotta
that.
hurt.
Yeah,
Which way? Oof.
yeah. Apparently, it's not okay when someone says they need toilet paper to give them a pine cone and say, "Figure it out." I've gotten some hate mail on that one.
Oh, John.
Yeah. So, oh, should we?
You got a minute for a good story? Make you laugh.
Okay.
Yes.
Bear with
yes,
us,
for
everyone in the
sure.
audience.
Yes.
And disclaimer, I am commenting publicly, but it keeps double posting. I don't know why. All right, everybody. So you asked about the event that we just had. It actually wasn't our event. So we went down to Columbia, Maine, which is near the coast.
Cambodia.
I keep calling it Cambodia because I'm stupid. It's Columbia. I double checked.
Is it Colombia?
It is Columbia. I was
You
wrong.
kept telling me it was Cambodia.
Oh,
I've been
yeah.
telling everyone it's Cambodia. I'm just as dumb as you are.
Yeah, well, it's because you
Thanks.
believe me. That's because you believe. First off, they're going to go, oh, the Marine got it wrong. I'm in more heat because I was in the Air Force. I'm supposed to get it right.
Situational awareness,
Notice,
failure.
notice how his words really slowed down because there was more than 3 letters in it. That was a tough one.
I'm not very good. Listen, you have to use the syllables, okay?
God.
If I don't do it, I look like an idiot.
Yeah,
so
should see his handwriting. It's an X. So we went down to this. It's called the Pucker Brush Primitive Gathering. It's there. This was their 10th, 9th or 10th? Ninth year. Okay.
Where is it? Where was it?
Columbia.
Okay, not Cambodia. Like
Nope, Columbia.
Okay.
I can't believe you got that wrong. It's Columbia, Maine. Through
Wait, I got it
Pleasant
wrong?
River
No, you
Fish
got it
and
wrong.
Game, I believe, is the location. And really great people, older guys that run it, and they've been doing this for a while because they kind of saw the same thing. And it happened 2 years ago. We were at a festival here in my hometown, and someone had the shirt and were talking to us. And I said, "Man, that sounds like our jam." It took us 2 years to get there because, well, we're busy. So we finally were like, let's load up the truck like the Hillbillies from whatever that show is. I can't remember it. And drive on down there. So we did.
Beverly Hillbillies.
Yep, basically, except they were probably classier than I am. So we hit in the
More
truck.
like the Trailer Park Boys.
We drive. Yeah, we're basically the Trailer Park Boys of Maine, I guess, is a way to look at it. That's fine. I accept that. That made my wife happy. So we get down there. It's a really good setup. We found out that almost all the other vendors canceled for different reasons. So we get there and get set up. Camping, they have a little island right there with a river that we got to camp on. It was a beautiful view. My daughter and one of our students, John, went with us, and they were rock stars helping us get everything set up, and they really liked the outdoors. They love fishing. So this was a great event because we got to go there. We got in that night. He was upset I bought lobster, so he ate hot dogs. And he was mad about it because he hates seafood.
Bottom feeders.
Yeah,
you don't eat bottom
he
feeders.
gets upset. And then they were fishing. They caught 9 bass and then a frog. So we cooked the fish and frog over the fire and ate it that night, which was awesome. So
Nice.
it was right after I kind of hit the rack. I was laying there, and I heard a discussion, and then I heard Devin walk off. And we, kids are kids, right? Sometimes they have one-track minds. And one of the kids had gone off to use the outhouse and just hadn't returned. So immediately you start thinking, oh, I mean, we're on an island. It's like they're not going to go that far, right? I mean, you're going to find water and turn around, I hope. So he goes over.
Whoa, hold on. Let's go back here for a second, all right? You require a flashlight. You cannot see in the dark. There is a maze to get to the outhouse. There are so many paths to get there. We've never been to this island before.
Okay.
And it is our responsibility as adults to make sure that these children are safe. Okay.
Right.
And, we're at the campfire, and he leaves, and it's about 10 minutes. Okay. All right, fine. You got to take a little dookie.
Yeah. It's a bathroom run. It's fine.
It never dawned on me that you would think that you go to a new place and it has an outhouse, you might want to check beforehand to see if there's toilet paper there. So needless to say, 10 minutes turned into 15 minutes. Now I'm getting worried because he hasn't come back. I haven't heard the door. I haven't heard any breaking branches or anything like that. So I get up, walk out there, get up close, and I can see the light coming around the outhouse door. Bud, did you forget toilet paper? Yeah. All I hear is this very, very mellow, I'm upset, but I'm also afraid to say, yeah, I've been sitting here on the toilet I didn't think about yelling for help or say, hey, I mean, we're not really that far away. It was definitely within earshot of going, I need some toilet paper. Nah, just sit there. So, so after I go back and get the toilet paper and drop it off to him, he comes back and he is delighted to show me that while he was in there patiently waiting for rescue, he decided to look around and resource. Now, this is what we're trying to instill in these kids is to resource everything that you have provided to you. Now, I'm not saying that he reached back there and found some resource in the no, but because everything was built off the land right there, except for the metal around it, some of the trees had been cut down and still had sap in them. So he came back with like a sap ball like that. And both of us are trying to figure out how he managed to clean himself without getting toilet paper stuck to all his hand from grabbing all that pine sap. Now, I love collecting pine sap. Okay. You cannot get that shit off your hand. Okay. You cannot get that stuff off your hands.
No, you can't.
Okay. Once you touch something, it goes on to that. And that goes on to something else. So the mystery of it, like Bigfoot, is how? So some things are left as a mystery and not to be known. This is one of them. But it's one of those great stories that, you know, for a second there, yes, his situational awareness was horrible. Like,
His what?
Situational awareness was horrible.
Better.
You scratched my CD. Oh, we'll tell that story too.
No, yeah, bring it on, Marine. I'm not afraid.
No,
I
we
made a mistake. Okay, I made one mistake.
Oh my goodness.
And I threw away his sap ball that he was collecting.
Oh, not just that sap ball. I went and collected more. Okay, this was time. He threw away my time.
But listen, to put in
You
context,
scratched my CD.
You hear how he's talking to me? We went to breakfast the next morning, so everyone's having breakfast, and he put on this act and yelled and pointed and said, I scratched his CD. We're the new people at this event, and people are like, don't go to their tent. Don't go talk to those weird, like they're pulling their children away going, they're kind of odd. They're from Dover. Don't go near them. And I'm like, great. That'll be fun. I gotta get some more brownie points today, apparently. Yeah, I did. I made a mistake. I burnt the sap. It's too bad trees don't make more. I don't know what we're gonna do about that. But
well, I can't get you to go out there and collect it because you're a ginger and you'll burn up in like 2 seconds in the sun.
Yeah, well, it's a big deal. Listen, I'm afraid of the sun. I have a reason to be afraid of the sun. Look at me. Do I look like I tan?
He's gonna look like the lobster that he ate on Saturday.
The only tan I've ever gotten is from my sandals, and that's dirt. Okay, I accept the drawbacks I have. Your people were out doing whatever. Mine were in a pub being drunk. They never saw daylight, apparently, in my past history.
Mine were drunk too. We were just passed out in the sun. That's why we can handle the heat.
Good for you. And then you should be collecting the sap, and I tell you what to do. That's how.
That's
works.
why I do. That's why you shouldn't have burnt it and wasted my time. You burnt my CD.
See, this is what it's like. By the way, it's a good time doing this. And honestly,
it is.
I was laughing so hard because I'm just in my hammock tent. And I'm hearing the conversation about where is he? He's been gone a long time. So now I'm actively listening. I'm like, well, I'm going to get out and go help look for him. And then I hear this laughter and I hear this conversation. I just yelled. I'm like, are you kidding me right now? And of course, he's a little embarrassed, but he's laughing. And I said, how in the world did you clean yourself with sap on your hands? I joke around about the pine cone, but there's sap on the pine cones. Now I'm thinking, did he actually do that because I joked about it too much? There's no way. Thankfully he did not. It was fine. He was very happy eating his frog legs and the fish, and he did really well. He actually made a bow at this event and was a rock star the whole time. Helped with sales. And that's a big thing we talk about with the parents too at our events is we laugh and have a good time. Awesome. But it's not just about them learning these outdoor skills. They learn public speaking, They learn how to negotiate a bit and how to time manage. And that's all a big part of our survival mindset, is to do those things, because we want the kids to know that whether they're there or back at home, this all comes in and plays. It's part of their foundation.
Yeah. It sounds like you guys are a lot of fun to hang out with. I think any kid would be lucky to have a camp that was run by you two, because you guys are like the good cop, bad cop, or good drill sergeant, bad drill sergeant. Like it would be hilarious. I'd be rolling the whole day.
Yeah, that's usually what happens.
So
it's a great time. We got to make it fun. If it's not fun, then you're not learning, and that's the most important part. Is we want them to come back. If we drill them all the time, I mean, I know when I was, if you ever been to basic training, the last thing you want to do is get up at 4 o'clock in the morning and deal with your screaming drill instructor, right?
Right.
No one wants to do that.
Right.
But if they made it fun and you had a good time, I mean, that's where I used to love the place that I worked at, because it was fun. They made it fun and engaging. But you know, corporate likes to make things, takes that fun away, and we got to get more productivity. Mm-hmm. I get that. But we want that fun for the kids. You got to remember, they're still kids. We don't want to take that away. Right. That's the whole point, is they lost their innocence growing up to be just like us, and giving up, sacrificing the innocence for the mundane.
And you know, part of like our big goals right now is,
I agree with you.
We're trying our best to hopefully get donations, or a donation for a covered cargo trailer, because part of the logistics of moving all the equipment around and the kids is we're trying to make it easy so we can go to places and set up and not honestly look like the hillbillies coming to town with a truck that's overloaded and everything else, and room, because as we grow and get more kids, we need more space.
The only thing we're missing is Granny in the back seat and the rocker. Other than that, it's pretty much looks just like the Clampa truck.
Yeah, there was people looking at us like, holy cow, because we bring a lot of gear. It's not just stuff that we use. The kids actually help design products we build with paracord and things like that, and we sell them. And flint napping, I mean, all the stuff that we put together and teach them, they help us put back in for scholarships and things like that. So there's a big investment from the kids in this with us. It's not just us doing it.
FYI, this is not slave labor. This is not child labor. Let's put that out there first and foremost.
They happily volunteered in exchange for food.
Not voluntold. Not voluntold.
Make sure that's out there. I don't want anybody to think that's happening.
Yeah, we're not Nike or Carhartt. Sorry.
And honestly, you know, it's on a personal level, why it's so important we do this, because if you go out and Google camps, I mean, you're going to find there's other groups doing kind of similar stuff to what we're doing, but it's not really the same to us. Unfortunately, we've had issues in my own family, very personal, where one of my daughters was negatively impacted by access to a unrestricted laptop through a public school. She ended up in a behavioral facility for over a year after the things that were said and the risk that she was put into as a result of it. That was hard for both of us to have to go through that and see that. As a father, I felt like I failed, even though I wasn't there because it was a different state and everything. But like that to me, that's my job. I'm the dad, I'm the protector. I'm the guy that gets things done. I will break down doors. I love my kids. And that passion I have for my kids is for every single kid that comes to our program, and every kid in the whole world. They deserve love. They deserve to be accepted and appreciated. They deserve to be seen for the talents they have. And the fact that we have people that care more about their social media presence and their bank account than the children in their home. They're letting technology and people that will try to raise them. That's crap. That is absolute crap. And it hurt. And I felt like I really let my family down, even though logically I know that there wasn't anything I could have done. I'm doing it now. I am creating the space with him where we can try to get these kids together and adults to give them that place. And that's why we hope when we finally someday have that full, like I said, the cabins, the restaurant, the lodge, all that stuff, there's a whole part of it that we want to develop where we bring in individuals and families that they come in and they get outdoor therapy, but they're going to be working with counselors and therapists that teach them it's okay to put up a shield, because the biggest problem we see right now everywhere in this country, divorce rates are through the roof, relationship failures through the roof, kids being neglected through the roof. Take it to the base level. It's because the negativity is reaching their family, and instead of holding hands and growing their structure and saying not today, they turn on each other. They go from one place where they're bullied to a home where they're not feeling loved and they're bullied there too. And it's because they feel like they don't know what else to do. And we want to change that. We want to take them out of the fire and not just say, here's a week outside, I hope you had a good time, and throw them back in. And there you go, what the heck? We want to actually give them the tools to go back and be part of the fight to turn this around. Because I promise you, any kid, any person that is in need.
Well, it sounds like you're doing really good things.
We're trying, and we're having fun along the way. We can't.
So we're going to have to wrap up. We're going to have to wrap up now with our conversation, but go ahead and tell everybody how to get in touch with you really quick before we leave the channel. And if you want to say when your show is on, let them know when they can catch you on your show too, and where.
Sure. So you can reach us online at The Hungry Prepper or at Nanoq Guides, nanoqguides.com, NANOQ guides.com. And of course, it's on the bottom of the screen there. I don't have the videos.
It's going right there.
Yeah, you see it, Marine. It's there. Calm down. This is what it's like working with him. You can reach us through our website, through my phone, which is listed below, 207-717-8510. I don't have a date for the first content.
Or Jenny's number,
to come up.
867-5309.
He interrupts me a lot. But it'll be posted as soon as I get it done and approved. And then you can follow our Facebooks as well, because we do photos and just random videos and stuff too. But the big thing is, if you want to be a part of it, get in touch. If you want to see us review something or talk about something, let us know. And if you want to donate and help, please get in touch with us. We would honestly appreciate it.
Yeah, you guys are great. We
All right.
appreciate
Well, guys, it's been great to meet you.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, it's been a lot of fun to hear you guys talk, and I'm waiting for your show. I'm excited. So just let me know. Reach out to me and let me know. But you're on MBR, you're on Patriot Radio. We're veterans, or we're giving veterans their voice, and we gave 2 veterans their voice today. Thank you so much. Tracer Round signing off.
We'll come back anytime you want.
Thank you. Thank you.
That's the show for today, everyone. Thanks for listening. We'll be back next week with an all-new show. And remember, you can listen to us again and again. The podcast of this radio show is available right after we go off the air tonight, anywhere that you can get your podcast episodes. And thanks for joining us today. I'd like to take a moment to talk about something close to my heart. Military Broadcast Radio is doing incredible work to support our veterans and bring their voices to the world. They rely on your generous donations and your dedicated volunteer hours to make it happen. I encourage you to consider supporting NBR in any way, form that you can. Use this QR code that's attached to the picture, or you can go to our website at mbradio.us. That's Mike Bravo Radio.us to learn more about how you can donate or volunteer even just an hour a week from your home. Help make a difference in the lives of our veterans, because once again, we're all here for you and not for us. We're giving our veterans a voice.